Welcome to another episode of Coffee Talk with Angel and Nathaniel, an interview series designed to reconnect with our peers on a professional and personal level. Each episode will feature a guest from the department. We hope to learn something new about one another in our post-pandemic world. So today's honored guest, second TV show in a week, is Tony. Welcome, Tony.
Thank you.
How are you?
Oh, I'm very well. How are you?
I'm glad
Yeah,
that you're...
Good to see you guys.
So happy that you took time out of your day to sit down with us and have a little chat.
Oh, anytime.
Yeah,
Anytime.
it's got to be hard fitting us in with all of those other TV shows.
Well,
here.
anytime away from the screen is quality
That's
time.
right. So you've seen our coffee talks. We kind of take turns going back and forth, asking some personal and some fun questions. And so I'm going to start out with question 1.
Okay.
So tell us about your role here within, easy for me to say, within the insurance agency.
Well, just to boil it down, 2 words, inside sales.
Okay.
What does that mean?
A license.
What does that mean?
I ask myself that sometimes. Just a little bit of it's sales.
Right.
Of personal lines.
Okay.
Your auto, home, umbrella, all the fun toys I call it, like your motorcycles, ski-doos, things like that. I've actually been in the inside sales role
Okay.
my entire time here,
Okay.
going back to 2015.
That was
Wow.
gonna be my next
little-
question on this.
Wow.
How long had you been in inside sales? So.
Yeah, since day one, since
Okay.
April of 2015. Seen them come, seen them go.
Sure.
I had a little bleep, where I left for about 6 or 7 weeks, but found the
They
grass
always
is not
come back.
greener,
They always
not
come
greener on the
back.
other
Right.
side. So came back 6 weeks later, and like I said,
The rest
kind
is
of
history.
transitioned right back into where I left off. At that time, I went back into my old desk that was still empty and still had some files on it.
Ready
Just
for
reserved
you.
Yeah. So all I did was
Reserved for
click
you.
the power button
There
and,
you go.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, that leads me to my question is what led you to this career? As Angel likes to say in most of our videos, no one wakes up and wants to, no one's born an insurance agent. So what led you to this career?
Well, it's interesting actually. When I first got out of school, albeit back in 2000, out of college, I went to work at JetBlue.
Okay.
I was actually associate number 8
Okay.
back in 2000. But then after that, my career kind of went over into the insurance
Okay.
side of things. That's where I got my Series 7 and 63 certifications in my life insurance. So I worked for a health insurance. I came from the HMO side of
Sure.
things
Okay.
out in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And from 2005 until I came here in 2015, so 10 years, I was in insurance, but it was
Health
the other side of
That's
things.
right.
It was the
Right.
whole HMO
Sure.
world and the high deductible.
Right.
And that's not for the faint of heart to do that for 10
No,
years.
it was a little different, especially when you're dealing with the Northeast corridor.
Sure.
Right.
Your states like New York,
Yes.
New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania.
Yes, personality types.
And
A little
highly
challenging.
populated.
It's highly populated. And what kind of led me to, I don't know, try my luck, I guess, on the personal line side was my background in the HMO world, because right about that time, this is pre-Affordable Care Act.
Sure.
So the companies were coming out with these great ideas, those plans, and we were rolling, not just our company, but several big insurers were rolling out the high deductible health plan for the first time in the East Coast. Everything that comes from the West comes East.
Right.
So it was kind of a new concept to 90% of the people
Right.
that were insureds. You've had these years of just paying a copay.
Right.
You go to the doctor, you pay $10. You go to the pharmacy, you pay your $5. Now, all of a sudden, things are a little bit different,
Yes.
and you are the responsible party
That's
right.
for a set amount of money, and you know, you have this whole thing of how savings accounts coming into play.
Sure.
This was all new, because before that it was just, you know, you pay for your kids' daycare out of your flex spending, and that
Right,
was it.
right.
Now you've got to know how much, you know, your zithromycin is going to cost.
Right.
You have to
Right.
know how much your eye drops are going to cost.
Right.
But so it took a little bit of education.
Mm-hmm.
And one day I kind of went to the vice president of the company, and because the customer surveys, or what we used to call the voice of the consumer, were literally in the toilets.
Sure.
Right. I can imagine.
So
Probably
It
rightfully
kinda-
so.
Right.
it kind of took me on this role of research and education and things
Right.
like that. And so one of the things that I found interesting was part of the talking points that we were using when we would present the plans to the consumers is, think of it like your car insurance.
There you go.
You have a deductible to pay before your insurance would pay
Right.
for whatever
Yeah,
damage.
right.
So let's look at it that way. So then I started
Ding,
thinking,
ding, ding.
yeah,
Like
well,
it.
and then my mother passed away and my father was here. So there were times where I was commuting every week,
Sure.
and I started liking it here. And needless to say, the cost of living in Ohio
Sure.
is a lot
Much
less
different,
A lot
right.
less.
than in the state of New York or New
Right.
Jersey. So I actually wanted to switch, going from the HMO side of things to more of the personal lines things, and
Perfect.
that's kind of how I got here. I know I took the scenic
That's
route.
all right. That's all right.
Went around the bend, but you got there. You got there. That's right. Well, and like I said, if you can sell health insurance, you can sell personal lines. Like that is no
Easily.
problem.
There were a lot of broker conversations there,
Yes.
trust me.
Yeah, I bet. Okay, so I'm gonna give you an easy one, and
Okay.
I think it'll be funny. We'll see. What makes you laugh the most?
Questions like this.
Oh, it's questions like that that get me into trouble.
Now remember, this is a family show,
Right,
so go
yeah.
easy.
I don't know. I like to laugh, so it's a comedy, things like that. There's no one specific
Yeah.
Right.
fit that just says, you know, this is what makes me laugh.
Sure.
I mean, anything from the dogs to lines from TV shows,
Uh-huh.
whether past or present.
Right.
You know, it's just, or, you know, sometimes you'll have these memories, you'll think of something someone said, you'll just bust out
You have your
laughing.
own
Right.
moment.
Yeah, so there's no one answer fits.
Okay, so you just like to laugh in general.
Yeah.
That's a good
Yeah.
one. That's an answer.
It's so much
Right.
easier to laugh.
It
It
is.
You know,
Or
It
we'd
is.
cry.
that's it. Laugh to keep from crying.
That's right.
So, what's one thing most people don't know about you?
Well, oh, you're rubbing your hands, aren't you? I initially, I was going to, when I graduated from high school, I was setting out on my career to become a doctor.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I did, yes. My mother was a physician.
Okay.
And then I looked at going into the Air Force because my father is, or was, an airline captain.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So I looked to go into the medical side of things because back in science class, when you dissected everything, I was the one that was like, ooh, yeah, the bushier the fun,
Right.
the more fun.
It's a frog.
Right.
Right, sheep's eyes, whatever. But then I don't know if my biology changed or what. When I got to school, when I got to Ohio State my freshman year, all of a sudden the sight of bodily fluid and blood just nauseated.
The gag reflex
And,
kicked in.
yes, and I think
In class, why am I swearing?
yes, and I'm
My
like,
stomach, I ate
oh,
something wrong.
yeah. So and I
Detour.
I kind of called my mother, and she's like, $37,000 later, you decide that you don't want to do this.
Now you're sick.
So yeah, so that kind of, let's say I changed majors
Wow.
from medical to finance.
There you go.
Got it. Good.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That is.
Oh, me. It's my
Yeah,
turn. Sorry.
it's yours.
I'm looking at the questions waiting
It's all
for me.
you, sister.
What's the best compliment you've ever received?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
No one's ever asked me that
There
before.
you go. We try to stump
Mhm.
people occasionally.
Yeah.
Give you something new. Fresh breeze.
Someone told me once that I have the soul of an angel, no pun intended.
There can't be two of us.
Right, yes. Only room for one.
That's right. And what does that mean to you? What is the soul of an angel?
Well,
Tell me what that means.
I thought that was very, very, very inspirational.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
It's very touching, and I was actually taken aback because I says, well, all I did was whatever it is
Sure.
that I did, and the person that told me that, she says, you don't realize what you did
Mhm.
for me.
So that was
Right.
in response to you helping somebody.
Yes.
That was her response.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That was,
Wow.
and I just thought that was.
You'll take it, right?
Yes, yes.
You'll take it.
I've been called much worse. trust me.
Today. No, just kidding.
And I've said much worse.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That
That's a
is.
good one. I'm Angel, and I've never even been given
Yes.
that compliment. So
Right.
good for you.
That
That's
is.
awesome.
So, what's one thing you wish you'd known when you started working at AAA, or what advice would you give to a newbie that just is starting on their journey of being an insurance agent for AAA?
Besides running the other way, I'm totally kidding.
Pulling the fire alarm.
Right.
Just be open to change, be open to learn, because before I came here, I'll be honest with you, my verbiage of the insurance world, I had only grown up with thinking of the captives.
Sure.
I never knew until I started studying for the exams.
Sure.
Right.
What independent was, that all the, I just knew State Farm,
Right.
Allstate, Geico,
Yeah.
Liberty Mutual, that,
Right.
Sure.
and so when I got here and learned, even on some of the pre-course work that I did too, before I took my
Sure.
licensure exam for the state of Ohio, the guy on there, he says, I'm an independent agent, and I just kept thinking, well, are you a broker?
Yeah, what does that
Right.
mean
Or
exactly?
independent.
And then-
Work for yourself
Yes.
through Allstate.
Right.
And I
Right.
think that's one of the things that's, just to kind of fast forward, that's important when you educate your consumers.
Right.
Because people say, I thought you were AAA insurance. Well,
Right.
we are, but
Right.
we're more than that.
Yes.
This is not your father's Oldsmobile anymore.
That's
Right.
right.
You know?
That's right. Oh,
Does that
you're
answer your
dating
question?
yourself,
It
aren't you?
does.
It
Well,
does.
actually, I heard Bishop use that Sunday in church. So
Okay.
that is the,
So
I'm
you-
not a doctor and I don't play one on TV.
Put those in your back pocket, right?
Yeah.
All right, my next question is, Nathaniel and I, self-proclaimed psychologists / detectives.
Right.
We think that the next couple of answers kind of define the who that you are. So,
Oh, boy.
right.
Dr. Phil.
That's right.
Right.
Exactly. It's your tell. So what is your favorite TV show, the one you're always watching on repeat?
It would have to be the series. It's a series.
Okay.
Does it have to be current or
It
can
can
it
be whatever
retro?
makes you
Whatever's
happy.
your
Whatever
favorite.
makes
So
you
I've
happy.
got two
It's
favorites.
not our
The
favorite,
current
whatever
day
your favorite.
is the FBI series on
Okay.
CBS.
Okay.
There's FBI, there's FBI Most Wanted,
Yeah.
and FBI International.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would say that my second most, watched
Sure.
would have to be retro, going back to the 80s.
Okay.
Dallas.
Oh, those are as night and day
Right.
as possible.
Yes. So I love
broad
J.R. Ewing.
spectrum.
Okay.
I wanted to be J.R. Ewing when I was little. I had the cowboy hat.
So good.
Yes.
So the Who Shot JR?
Who shot J.R.? Well, I was
Like-
only 3
Oh,
when that
okay,
aired,
gotcha.
but I remember
So I'm
my
dating
grandparents.
myself
Right,
now.
right.
I guess I'm dating myself now.
But yeah, but it's on now.
Yes.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So I can rewind and. But it's interesting. Speaking of Dallas, to watch the cast and crew on there,
Right.
and now they're all like in their 80s. But it's like to see people when they were in their 20s and 30s.
Right.
Like I never realized that the actress who played Kristen Shepherd,
Mm-hmm.
which was Sue Ellen Ewing's sister,
Right.
was Bing Crosby's daughter, Mary
Oh.
Crosby.
Oh, wow.
No.
So you know
Didn't
the
know
ins
that.
and outs.
Oh,
You are a
yes.
fan.
Yes.
You're a true fan.
I toured the set just
Aw.
last week in
Really?
Lorimar in out in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
So that leads to the FBI shows as far as the investigative
There you
work.
go.
So,
Oh, yes.
There you go.
I swear that the actor Zico Zaki, who plays Agent Sedan, is a spitting image of Nick Mernan. Peace.
Oh, we're gonna have to pull that up, put it at the end of the
Yes.
reel
Yeah,
here, so we can see
okay.
what that looks like.
Yeah, Nick, I'm sorry, I love you, buddy, but
That's awesome.
So that leads me to my question, and I think based upon, I'm gonna say what I've heard, but I think I know the answer to this question.
I'm scared now.
But that's why we put it in here. So, do you collect anything?
We hear tell there might be a couple of things that you collect.
Yes.
I do.
All right.
Okay.
One of the things I do collect, goes back, I guess, to my passion of travel,
Okay.
are airplanes,
Okay.
model airplanes,
Okay. I didn't know that.
commercial.
Okay.
I'm sure you've heard about the next one, my Nike collection.
Yes. That
that's
is the one we've heard.
That's the one that we heard. Why we had to throw it in.
Your
I-
reputation precedes you.
Yes.
Yes, I am currently at 1,003 pairs.
Really?
Oh my
Of
gosh.
Nikes.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
Some
So
of
tell the crowd here, where do you keep 1,000 pairs of tennis shoes?
crowd, I have in my garage, I have cabinets lined up, and I still have the original boxes.
Yes,
Okay.
you do.
I still have the receipts
Okay.
Yes,
in
you
the
do.
boxes.
Yes.
Some of them I've probably not worn
Sure.
about 95% of them.
Wow. Okay.
And my sister used to tease me. She used to be like, "You could probably run Nike," which when I went out west, that's my mecca,
Sure.
the Nike factory in Portland.
That's interesting.
But yes, I have that, and then I also had to get a storage facility
For your shoes.
out on Ennis Road,
Okay.
and
So,
those are Nikes. Now
Okay.
we're not counting Adidas. We're not counting.
how many? If we were counting those, what would they
I don't
tally?
know.
Okay.
So-
Maybe close to 1,400.
So, of the Nikes, when did you start? Obviously, it took time to collect
That's
all
right.
of the shoes.
I've always been a Nike.
And
nut.
why?
It was just me. I don't
Yeah.
know if it was the swoosh that just fascinated
Got
me.
it.
But I have my pair that I wore to first grade.
Oh my
Really?
goodness.
I still have them.
Wow. Okay.
And I think I mentioned, you probably have heard this, that under my policy, I've actually scheduled.
Yes, that I have heard as well.
I've scheduled my
You're in
Nike
the Marine
collection.
Yes,
collection.
that's right.
Yes,
right.
I schedule those before I schedule my Rolex, my day. But, yeah, so,
That's
Okay.
great. So,
Wow.
over 13 to 1,400.
yeah, that's sneakers.
That is
Now,
commitment.
that-
I tell
That's
you.
sneakers.
Now, do you go and actively have a particular style, or how do you continue to collect? How do you build on that? Do you
Well,
just
I
happen to see a pair when you're out shopping, or are you one that goes and looks for vintage ones?
I think the latter. I'm the kind that will sit at home on a Sunday after church if I'm not doing anything,
Sure.
or
You're on
Chris,
eBay.
or Chris has gotten on my nerves and I need some time.
Some
So
me side.
I don't run out to Easton and debt myself. I will look on eBay.
Okay.
I'm actually a member of a chat that's been going on for several years.
I can imagine.
And that I'll trade.
Okay.
Oh.
You know,
So there are others like you.
there are others like me. Imagine that. That's scary. There's I'll trade with some of them.
Sure.
I know some of them are anonymous.
Right.
But you have to have that whole build up of trust and
Right.
things
Yeah, be
like that.
vetted.
But I've done that.
That's
I've
so
gone to the
interesting.
Nike factory. I usually go once every 2 or 3 years
Okay.
to
Wow.
the actual, and so I always go to the company store
Right.
in Nike
Mhm.
and out in Portlandia.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good 3-4 hour
That's a mecca right
vintage
there,
for
right?
me.
Yeah.
Well, Chris always teases me. I says, well, that's my version of his Hobby Lobby or his Joanna Fabric.
There you go.
Because
That's
when he
right.
goes into there, I just find
It's
the
over.
seat and pull my phone out and play card
Right.
games.
That's right. That's awesome. So super interesting.
Yes.
Super interesting.
So it's either there or a museum of aircraft.
Okay. All right.
So like when we go to Chicago,
Right.
I go to the United Airlines museum.
Which I heard
Gotcha.
is amazing.
Which it is.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad flew for them for 40 years,
Oh,
so
wow. Then,
I've got a lot of
right.
vintage
That's the history
things.
that's in there too.
Or when we go to Atlanta, I'll go to the Delta. Chris doesn't get too happy when I try to bring airplane seats back from like the 70s from the Lockheed Martin L-1011.
In
Right.
your airplane, you bring your airplane seats
I
in
would
the airplane.
try, trust me. I mean, I'm like, if people can carry surfboards.
That's right.
Right.
And
you know,
dogs.
Right,
Yeah.
I can bring back a snack tray.
Right.
That's
Why
right.
not?
That's right. That's funny. Okay, last question. You've seen these. We always invite the attendee to either sing or dance. We've had people do both. So last question, also going to be a tell about your personality. What's the one song or artist that you're embarrassed to admit that you like?
Oh boy,
We're digging deep.
I like Gavin DeGraw.
Okay.
Okay. There's nothing wrong
The
with
first
that.
song.
Okay, sing it.
No, absolutely not. I don't have any bourbon to get me
Okay,
going on
okay.
that.
So if you had some liquid courage,
Right.
we can do that.
We'll have to add that in.
I've done a few karaoke.
Okay.
So,
That's awesome.
In our next series, we'll have to make sure we have some type of beverage here that can only be partaked at
Coffee
the
talk
end of
after
the
hours.
yeah, coffee talk with some strong
That's
coffee.
That's right. Irish coffee talk.
Yeah, little Baileys.
There you go. There you go.
Fantastic. Well, again, we appreciate you taking time out of your day to come visit with us here on Coffee Talk.
No problem.
Definitely was a very entertaining episode.
That's right.
Learning much about you.
You did
so
not disappoint.
That's right.
Oh well, I'm touched.
Yes.
So thank you again for viewing another episode of Coffee Talk with Tony, Angel, and Nathaniel. Everyday conversations with everyday people. Have a great day.
Have a great day.